Chapter 12. The Scaletail Encounter. The door to the trunk came open with a gust of wind. It was Januka, his face caked with fresh blood. He laid down on the cool rock floor, curled up and went to sleep, saying nothing of what happened. We all knew that he had gone hunting, which upset Lily. Killen, who was awake by now, was telling Lily that it was the way of life. Some creatures needed the help of other creatures to survive. A weevil never killed for sport, and never killed something that it could not finish eating. Lily slowly went to sleep with tears still rolling down her cheeks. She hated the thought of something losing its life for others to survive. She also knew that Januka needed whatever it was he ate. We all soon fell asleep from exhaustion. Lily, who was not really that tired, woke up when she heard Killen groaning. "Killen, what's the matter?" But he passed out before he could answer. Lily thought, I must wake the others, but before she could, the mushrooms started to glow pink and formed a ring of mushrooms. A voice coming from the center of the ring said softly, "Don't wake the others. Come over here so I can talk to you." Lily thought, I know that voice. It's the fairy Harlow we saw earlier. She went over to the mushrooms, and the little fairy was sitting on a mushroom like a stool. Harlow said, "Take me to Killen." So Lily easily picked him up in her cupped hands and carried him over to Killen. He started to examine the scar and smelled the fumes that wafted up from it. He started to push up his sleeves while telling Lily to find a sharp, thin stone. Looking around on the floor, she found one and handed it to him. "This wound is hiding a secret. It must be reopened. I shall do this. Could you hold his hand for me?" She held Killen's hand and turned away as the fairy cut opened the scar. She turned her face back just as he started to plunge his arms deep into the new wound. I feel it. As he started to pull on the object, Killen started to groan. Lily, still holding Killen's hands, said, "You must stay still for me, Killen." He passed out again as Harlow pulled out a large slime-covered ball. He wiped his hands on his shirt and started to look at the ball. After a moment he looked up and said, "Killen's lucky you placed dew on his hand when you did, or he would have died by now. There's only one other that could have done this, Scaletail." "Will he be all right now?" Lily asked. With a sigh, he replied, "The magic in this was strong and poison to the heart." "I am afraid unless you can find the one that did this to him, he will still die before morning." Lily asked, "How do I go about finding this scaly tail? Let me wake the others. We'll go now." "First do not wake the others, for this is a thing that must be done only by the one dearest to him. You have to find Scaletail and make him give you only as a gift his blood to make the poison in Killen leave." Lily looked at Killen and then back at Harlow. "Can you show me the way?" The fairy replied, "You'll never make it on foot before morn. I have one gift I can give you for helping me earlier." He put his arms in the air and suddenly started to grow and grew until he was as large as a man. "I shall fly you to him, but I can do no more." "I understand," she said as she was lifted off the ground and was swept out the entrance and into the deepest part of the swamp. They came to a large pond. The fairy placed her down and said, "Call him out and remember it must be a gift." She nodded and called out, "Scaletail, come hither, I command thee." Bubbles started to rise from the black pond, lit only by moonlight. The bubbles came closer to where Lily stood. Near the land, a hand rose from the water's edge and grabbed the soft earth, as did another hand. A form came up from the murky water, exposing a hideous-faced creature, who called upon Scaletail, say I. Lily, too stunned for words, just stared at first and said nothing. As the creature climbed out of the water even more, she thought, he might pull her in. But before she would give him a chance, she said in a strong voice, "Why did you hurt my friend Killen?" The creature replied with a hiss, yes, methinks I remember, the poison meant for Tolo. I thinks I gave it to your friend." He smirked. "But why Tolo?" Lily asked. The creature grew upset and said, "Too many questions for assess. Such a assess small one. My lady Lanu wishes it. Assess still though, assess she didn't blood his get. Assess she have Killen, assess she assess shall. She certainly shall not." Lily retorted under her breath, trying to think of a plan. Then one came to her, but to make it work, she must use her words wisely and without hesitation. While thinking of her next step, aloud she asked, "What's in this for you Scaletail? Surely you wouldn't do this for nothing."